everyone, what is going on? Raven here, welcome back. On September 22nd, 2006, 16-year-old high school student Cassie Jo Stoddart was murdered by her classmates Brian Draper and Tori Adamsick in her aunt and uncle's house in Pocatello, Idaho. Her body was discovered 2 days later when her relatives, her aunt, uncle, and cousin returned home from their trip. The perpetrators have claimed that they were inspired to murder Cassie by the slasher film Scream, which led to them being nicknamed the Scream Killers. The boys recorded documentary-style videos about how they were horror movie fans, especially to the movie Scream, and wanted to reenact a similar murder in real life. They started a list of potential victims the day that they decided to unalive Cassie, following their initial plan. Both perpetrators received sentences of life imprisonment without parole on August 31st, 2007. Most of his childhood was spent in Utah for Brian. However, him and his family moved to Pocatello, Idaho, when he was a teenager, about 13 years old. He met Tori when they were both students at Pocatello High School. Both boys were interested in films. They started recording on their own. The victim, poor Cassie, attended the same school. She and the killers were both in 11th grade. Well, all of them were in 11th grade. And it was said that they were actually friends with Cassie. It is also one thing to note that it is also said that Brian Draper had a huge crush on Cassie and was jealous that she had a boyfriend. On the night of September 22nd, she was house sitting for her aunt and uncle, Allison and Frank Contreras, on Whispering Cliffs Drive in northeast Bannock County. The Contreras family was out of town and had hired her to come take care of their 3 cats and 2 dogs for the weekend. Stoddart was visited that evening by her boyfriend Matt Beckham, who arrived around 6 p.m. Later, classmates Brian Draper and Tori Adamsick, who were both aged 16 years old at the time, came over to the house to hang out. She gave the friends a tour of the house, including the basement. The 4 teens went into the living room to watch the film Kill Bill Volume 2, but Brian and Tori ended up leaving before the film ended, saying they wanted to watch a movie at the local movie theater instead. Cassie and her boyfriend Matt stayed behind. She was unaware that before the boys left, they had unlocked the basement door so that way they could re-enter the house undetected. Sometime after leaving the house on Whispering Cliffs, the perpetrators returned to the neighborhood, parked down the street, got out of their vehicle, put on costumes consisting of dark clothing, gloves, white painted masks. They were quiet when they entered the house through the basement door, while the couple were watching TV in the living room upstairs. They intentionally made loud noises in an unsuccessful attempt to lure them both downstairs so they could quote-unquote scare them. Next, they found the circuit breaker, turned off the power in the house, hoping the pair would come downstairs to check the breaker. When neither one of them went downstairs, the boys turned some of the lights back on. Cassie became uneasy after the temporary power outage, and her boyfriend noticed that one of the Contreras dogs kept staring down the basement stairs, periodically barking and or growling. Seeing that Cassie felt scared, Matt called his mother to ask if he could stay the night at the house with her to ease her mind. But she said no. She denied the request. Instead, she offered to let Cassie come home with him and stay at their house for the night, and she would bring her back in the morning. However, Cassie felt it was her responsibility to stay at the house as she was hired to do and care for the animals, and declined the offer from his mother. Approximately 10:30 p.m., Matt's mother picked him up, leaving Cassie alone at the house, or so she thought. Matt called the boy's cell phone to see where he and the other boy were, possibly meet up with them later. He said he could barely hear him, who was whispering on the phone, and assumed the boys were in a movie theater. From the basement, the boys heard him leave. The teens turned the lights out again at the breaker and waited, hoping she would come downstairs and turn the lights back on. But she didn't. Eventually, the boys went upstairs. Draper was armed with a dagger-type weapon, and Adamsick had a hunting knife. The weapons had been purchased at a pawn shop. Draper opened and slammed a closet door at the top of the stairs to scare her, who was lying on the couch in the living room. The boys then brutally attacked her, stabbing her approximately 30 times. 12 of the wounds were potentially fatal. During the investigation of the murder, police found that Draper and Adamczyk had recorded their plan to murder her in advance on videotape while they were at school. The video footage was shown at their trials. They were arrested on September 27, 2006, and charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. During the interrogations, each team blamed each other. Draper claimed he was in the same room with Adamczyk when Cassie was killed, but denied stabbing her, then later admitted to stabbing her under alleged commands from Adamczyk. He led investigators to Black Rock Canyon, where the teens had disposed of the clothing, masks, and weapons they used for the crime itself. This is where they also received a Sony VHS tape that contained video footage of their plans to end her life. At trial, the prosecution revealed that Draper had said he was inspired by Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, who committed the Columbine High School massacre. Later, Adamczyk was said to have been inspired by the Scream horror film franchise. Draper was convicted on April 17, 2007. Adamczyk was convicted on June 8, 2007. On August 21, 2007, based on being convicted of first-degree murder, each received a mandatory sentence of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole and 30 years to life for being convicted of conspiracy to commit the crime. Adamczyk and Draper are both serving their life sentence at Idaho State Correctional Institution, located in unincorporated Ada County, Idaho, near Kuna. In November of 2019, Adamczyk's sentence was upheld after his appeal was denied. I would also like to mention that Terry's mother has written a book, to which she titled the book, The Guilty Innocent. If any of you are curious and want to purchase the book, you can actually get it on Amazon. It is written by Shannon Adamczyk, who is obviously Terry's mother. The convicted men's attorneys filed separate appeals at the Idaho Supreme Court in September 2010 for Adamczyk and April 2011 for Draper. Draper was seeking to have his conviction vacated or to be given a limited life sentence that would allow for his release or on parole if approved after 30 years. The first appeal for both Adamczyk and Draper were denied in a 3-2 decision. The High Court vacated Draper's conviction on conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, saying that jurors were given erroneous instructions on that charge, but they affirmed his conviction for first-degree murder and life sentence without parole. In July 2015, Adamczyk gained a hearing for post-conviction relief with the state 6th District Magistrate Judge Mitchell W. Brown. He claimed that testimony from character witness could have changed the outcome of the sentencing, but that his former attorney, against his parents' wishes, chose not to call upon these witnesses. Adamczyk said that his attorney believed that the prosecution would have submitted even more damaging evidence. In March of 2016, Judge Brown denied his request for post-conviction relief. Adamczyk appealed Judge Brown's decision to the Idaho Supreme Court, which on December 26, 2017, rejected his appeal for post-conviction relief and upheld the court decision. Following the Idaho Supreme Court's decision, Adamczyk filed a federal writ of habeas corpus in January of 2018, in which he argued that the court denied his first appeal based on a theory that was not presented to the jury. Adamczyk also argued that he should be entitled to new sentencing hearing in light of the Miller-Montgomery decisions. Federal Magistrate Judge Candy W. Dale presided over the writ on November 25, 2019, and she denied it. Adamczyk is currently appealing Judge Dale's decision to the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals, with oral arguments taking place on February 7, 2022. On March 24, 2022, they upheld the sentence in an unpublished decision. And in 2010, the Stoddart family filed a civil suit against the Pocatello School District, claiming that the school authorities were negligent and should have known that Draper and Adamczyk posed a threat to others. Both the civil court and the Idaho Supreme Court dismissed the case, saying the actions of the killers were not foreseeable. What do you all think of everything I just went over in today's video? Do you think that Cassie's family had a case against the school district? Do you think that either one of these boys, who as of this point should be somewhere in their 30s, do you think they should be able to get out? For me, personally, I don't think so. They were both inspired by horrible things. The one being inspired by the Columbine massacre shooters, which is already a red flag enough. And to have both boys be proven guilty without questionable doubt, and to have Terry's mother, who wrote The Guilty Innocent, basically discussing the case and the murder of Cassie, and stating that basically her son is innocent, even though there's proof of blood and everything else on the clothes that he wore. It was proven that the two were together, and it was proven also, because they've been videographing themselves, it was proven that he actually admitted to doing it and wanting to be better than Ted Bundy. Both of them agreed to wanting to be a better serial killer than Ted Bundy. And yet, Terry's mother thinks he is an innocent young man. Now, at the time, they were 16, 17 years old at the time of their trials and convictions. Now, as of 24, they should be roughly in their 30s. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!